5 o'clock hustle, bro.
5 o'clock.
5 to 8, 5 to 12, 5 to 3 until you get back up the next morning.
Every week I got a new idea.
And that's what it always is, right? It's crazy.
5 o'clock.
I was doing that in 2005, but everybody thought it was weird.
5 o'clock.
Thus, the side hustle was created.
5 o'clock hustle podcast.
Man, they're having so much fun.
Now that we in harmony, put your hands together. Together. 6. So just go ahead and write something for that, and that'll be the first part.
Whenever you're done, just submit it.
Submit. All right. Entered.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another sweet baby episode. Except our episode's no longer a baby.
It's an adult.
That's right. Episode number 21.
It can vote.
21.
It can drink.
It can drink. It can vote.
It can play blackjack. If it were blackjack,
it can run for mayor. Can it?
No.
Not unless it's a citizen. If it's not, get the fuck out of here.
Well, we're back again, guys, for another episode of the 5 O'Clock Hustle podcast.
That's right.
Coming at you with a Squadcast.
Coming
No guest
out of
this
you.
week. No guest. Every fourth episode is a Squadcast. Hopefully, that's how it's going to work anyway.
No, we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to do some recap. We're going to do some,
Some Capri.
We'll just talk about whatever we want to talk about. And
The wine's flowing.
yeah, the wine is flowing.
Enjoying the sweet sacrament on episode 21.
That's right.
Dude,
So,
shout out to Fitvine, not wine.
Yeah. They're not
yeah.
sponsoring us, but maybe they will.
well, I heard about this on a podcast. So I'll have to try to hit them up. Maybe we can get some affiliate links going or something.
I mean, but for real though, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
it has 12 calories per nothing.
90 calories, but like a normal glass of red wine is like 240 calories.
Oh my god.
Good gosh.
So,
Really?
yeah, one to every.
Oh, face.
One. You can have 3 glasses. You can drink. You can almost drink this whole bottle, and like it's 1 glass of regular wine.
I mean, not that we're recommending you do that
Yeah,
out
but
there.
challenge
in Washington,
accepted.
But yeah, we'll go for it.
Fitvine wine, guys. Get it at your local Whole Foods.
Whole Foods, huh?
Yeah, or the internet. That's where I first heard about it, and then they get somehow landed a deal.
At
Sweet
holes?
deal. Whole Foods.
At the holes?
We call it the whole wallet.
The whole wallet.
The whole
'cause
wallet hole.
It takes that much to be happy, but if you can devote yourself.
Yeah, then you gotta do
So
it.
let's hop into this, guys. What's
Bree?
Should we start recapping the episodes a little bit?
Let's cap some right, dude.
Cool. So, Dean, this first one that we're going to go over, Noob Camp, you weren't able to make it. Why is that?
Well, I didn't
Give us
expect
your
that question.
excuse, dude. Give us your
no,
excuse.
it's a good question. So I was acting up, and my wife broke my nose. So I was being a little biatch, and I needed to clean more.
She set you straight, huh?
No, so really, I had a septum
That was
deviated.
possibly deviated.
No, it was absolutely deviated. It was deviating from the acceptable region of septums. And so I undeviated it.
Yeah.
But the guy was like, "Oh, it'll take 5 to 8 days to fix," and now it's been
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah, you were like, yeah,
It
like,
still sucks.
like I'll, they'll do the thing, and then we'll good. We'll hang out and stuff. You can come over and you're like,
Yeah, no. Note to hustlers. Before you have a medical procedure that's going to affect your ability to breathe or talk, check around.
Yeah.
Because like this is sucked. This is sucked real
Had
bad.
no point of reference. I was
But
that
anyway-
way. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you were that way. What?
When I got my wisdom teeth pulled, I got all 4 at one time, so that was kind of tough.
Not smart.
Luckily, I wasn't recording the podcast.
is that
then.
cheaper to do like all 4 at once?
No,
or
it's
like
just
it was
like-
just a
More
necessity?
effective for your
Yeah,
healing process.
Yeah, I feel like it's like when I got my tattoo. She was like, "Oh yeah, you can come back for a second session." I'm like, "Well, let me tell you something. With this pain, I'm not coming back with a second session. So let's just do it all right now,
Or ever.
or you're never gonna finish this beautiful artwork on me." So I just told the doc, "Let's just knock it all out right now." He's like, "Yeah, we'll take 2. And maybe 3, and then you can come back." I'm like, "No, there's no point. Just take all 4 of them. Let's just do it." So
Yeah. So I had a septoplasty that unfortunately didn't do anything cosmetically for me, so I still look stupid, but
I think you're beautiful,
it did
man.
straighten my breathe ways.
Oh, well.
Your air passages.
My passages.
So you breathe real good now.
I breathe real good better.
It's like I thought I was gonna be able to breathe like amazing.
Look, watch. Here we go. Here's my old breathing. Here's my new breathing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a beast. So
you guys
that's why I wasn't
in Listener
there,
Land
but I
got
did
that.
listen to the whole episode, obviously.
Yeah, well,
and
we missed you. It was a good time. I was pretty tired, to be honest, because
you guys had just got done wrapping up like a whole nother thing. So.
yeah, well, because like just a little background on the episode. Everybody should go check it out. It's episode number
18?
18, yeah, and
18 will get you 20.
I started this. Yeah, that episode could vote. This one can drink.
The irony of that, though.
Sorry.
But I started a company with these guys a few years ago to raise some money to make a film, because apparently you have to start a company to make something the real way. And one of our guests from a future episode has his own opinions about.
You said you guys are stupid.
Yeah. He laughs at the ideas of permits, and I was like, man, I wish you were
I
in my
can't wait for
life.
everyone to hear
around.
that episode.
We're not going to talk about him, because you're going to hear about that in a month.
I predict in the future we're going to release an episode with someone that's going to just blow minds.
Yes, 2 weeks from now. 1 week from you listening to this today.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Maybe not. You never know.
But anyways, yeah, I started this company with these guys. We raised a bunch of money for this show called Noob Camp. We finally wrapped up post-production.
Boom, boom.
So once it's all packaged up and ready to go, you guys are going to be able to check it out and everything. But we had done 3 hours of commentary for a 18-minute episode.
I love that.
Yeah, so that's
that.
around about like how many minutes you actually get out of a actual 30-minute actual television show, plus commercials. So that's why it's that length. And also, we didn't have enough money to make anything any longer.
Thank God.
Well, yeah. Nobody has enough money for that planet. But it was really fun to get back together with those guys, because since then, like before, like not me, but all the rest of my partners, they all lived in a house together with our dear friend Chaz, who was on the episode, obviously. And like years went by from the editing process, because we were literally the way that we went about it is, we kind of knew how to make something. We knew how to make I didn't. I wasn't in the film industry. I was the
producer.
I was the business student who was like, they just came to me and like, hey, you know how to like
they threw you into the fire of the business
They kind
side.
of tricked me, I think. But
You should produce this.
they all went to film school, and I was like, yeah, this would be great. It'd be a lot of fun, and obviously, like, I like to start new things and jump into things, and I'm all for it, and I'm still with it.
You?
And, what?
Get out.
And we finally wrapped this thing up. It was really tough because we were learning as we go. And if we were to make that film again today, it would be completely different. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it would have been better.
Cheaper.
It would have been, yeah. Well, at least we would have spent the money more effectively, and it would have just been a better film. Yeah. We could have probably made 50 episodes or something with that same amount of money. But you know what? I learned a whole lot. And if there's anybody out there that has that would like any advice for producing, I will definitely be able to tell you things that you shouldn't do.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah, so
sure.
reach out to general at 5o'clockhustle.com.
yeah,
With
just
any
fill out the
questions
form on the
you have.
website, 5o'clockhustle.com. And yeah, so we went through that whole thing.
Yeah, no, I think it was a really good episode because it touched on pretty much everything that you're saying. A bunch of creatives got together and wanted to make something, but they didn't know the business side of it. There's always a business side to everything if you're trying to create content in any regard. And I think that's, some of our listeners can take a lot from that, and me especially being an artistic individual as well, and other people who want to explore those endeavors, whether it's photography, whether it's movies, whether it's music, art, painting, whatever. There's a business side to also doing the creative part. And I think they had a great insight on what it took, and also failing and then finally getting it, right, over and over again. So I think it was really good, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a
and
good time.
You know what? One thing that I thought was really cool was the fact that, I mean, it kind of showed that sometimes you have to just go with your gut, and you got to just charge after something, even though you don't know necessarily it's going to be successful. Because, like, if you look back at what Chaz thought was going to be cool 10, 15 years ago,
Right.
it ended up being exactly the largest, one of the largest,
Right.
fastest growing industries
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So it's like
He had some
it kind of
major
is.
foresight.
Can you imagine
huge.
though?
I wish
Okay,
I would
so
have put money on League of Legends back then.
I'm just
Shit.
saying, I would too. But so if you think about it that way, it's like you can actually feel free to fuck up on everything you do as long as you pursue exactly what it is that you think that you should be doing at that point, because it may be way, 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 way beyond your time. I mean, he basically forecasted that esports would take over as an emerging industry in the sporting industry.
Yeah.
I know that was kind of redundant, but that's just a reality. Like, and if he would have actually pursued it at that time and released it at that time,
It may have been too early.
This shit would be no.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be that early. I think it would be perfect. I think he would have actually perpetuated something that was ready to blow up and was in the
I see what you're
process.
saying. Yeah.
So I'm just saying he actually would have caught it. It's kind of like if you bought Yahoo stock in 1983.
Right.
I know that's a really obscure
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, Yahoo is one of those first companies that came out and started just booming as a search engine for the stock market.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that invested in Yahoo and they put $20 in and they were millionaires.
Right.
And
So
now
it's like
they have $20.
and now, unless they sold it, they had $20. And they still have an at yahoo.com email. But like, if he just followed that and he pursued it enough to the point where he was out there, I think that he would have actually seen, and you guys all would have seen a lot more success than you are right now, even though you are, you produced something great. And it's going to be out there and it's going to get recognition and eventually it will catch on, but not necessarily like it would have 5 or 10 years ago when it was before its time.
It was right on.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
right
things
on
are
the cusp. Of,
what's different about, I don't think it's as much as the trend of gaming becoming as prevalent as it is now. I think it's more of how media works now. I think if we were released at that time, we're at a time where, and we wanted to release it back. It wasn't 10 years ago when we did this. It was 5 years ago.
No, when his thought came about, though, he describes it as being 10 to 15
Oh yeah,
years
no, it was
ago.
in
It
high
was-
school,
yeah,
which
it
is
was-
definitely,
Yeah.
I'm old now, so
Yeah, but no, you guys were again. You were. I mean, he was
saying-
in front of that industry, and he was also. You were all collectively also in front of, or before. You predated the time when net videos and things like that were popular, or whatever the hell you call it. Like, you weren't talking about releasing this in theaters.
no,
You're talking
It was
about-
called a web series at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And
everyone's like, what the hell is that?
It wasn't that long ago. Like today, like the web series doesn't even exist anymore. It's just TV on the internet.
It's TV on the internet, or it's Netflix, or it's Amazon original.
There is no web series. It's just a television show because you watch it on your TV, because you have your Apple TV,
Your
or
Hulu.
or
or
whatever
your
they're called.
Amazon Fire box.
Yeah, whatever they're
The
called.
kids got their fireboxes.
Media is different now. There's so much more competition in that space for internet content. And yeah, like if we would have struck while the iron was hot at that time, we would have probably had a lot better distribution.
It's like us with fucking Boomshine.
Boomshine. Oh my
Boomshine.
god.
When we
No, was that
was
what
it
we
was
called
it Boomshine,
We
or
can
was
call
it?
that a podcast, can't we?
It was essentially a podcast because we
Yeah.
were like, oh, we're gonna film or we're
What
gonna
year was
record.
that? That was like
This was like
2004.
2004. This was
Yeah.
like 2004, and we were like, we're gonna make a radio show, but strictly for the internet. And it was like the most amazing idea at the time. And like we had the website and everything, or what was it? Afternoon Shiner is what it was.
Afternoon
It was
Shiner.
Afternoon
Boomshine
Shiner.
was-
Boomshine
Rick
was
Dees
another
comes on.
one.
He's like, "That's stupid."
Yeah. So Boomshine was right, exactly. But it's like and I see where you're coming from, where you're saying at that time, like if he had caught that boom like right then, like it would have been the biggest shit in the world.
Yeah.
But like you said, Rick Dees at the time may have looked at us and been like, "You guys are fucking."
Oh,
idiots."
dude,
You know
hindsight's
what I'm saying?
always 20/20.
So
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
you never really know when it's the right time, if it's too early or if it's too late, but it's like you alluded to, you just go and do it. If you think that it's right, go and do it. And then the time will present itself, you know?
Do you own Bitcoin?
I don't.
Do you own Bitcoin, Chris?
I own very little.
Okay. I own a tiny bit. Let's talk in 20 years. I don't even know.
I don't even
But
know.
let's
But let's talk in 20 years.
Yeah.
If this
But let's
podcast
talk takeaways though from the Noob Camp episode. I mean, what did you guys get from it?
Well, for me, it was just hashing out a lot of the feelings and emotions of dealing with like something I've never had to do. And like I said, like I'm a person who will charge headfirst into anything that I get into. I don't care what it is. You want to start a popsicle stand? Is that a thing? A popsicle stand?
You want to make crackers?
I actually had a popsicle stand back in Houston, Texas.
Is that like a lemonade stand but with popsicles?
But just with popsicles.
yeah. So a popsicle. It's like
What were the flavors? Lemonade?
No, literally, we just made Kool-Aid.
God.
We got like 4 different flavors of Kool-Aid. And what we did was we got the little snack size Ziploc bags, and we just poured it in there and froze them. So they were probably about this thick. The viewers can't see this. But yeah, we made Kool-Aid popsicles, and we just sold them on the side.
That's
'Cause
awesome.
Houston, Texas is hot as shit. So yeah, we
They
did
said they have. That's a thing though right now, isn't it? Kool-Aid popsicles.
it probably is.
Yeah, you can get those in the freezer
Yeah,
section.
you're
at
welcome,
Ralph's.
everyone who can get those at the freezer section.
Or just
of
put
Ralph's.
your
You're
Kool-Aid in
welcome.
the freezer. But yeah, like I charge headfirst into all these things, and one of the major problems with that is you're not always ready to do that. But at the same time, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable as I am today. Like I wouldn't have got that knowledge anyway else. I know how to make a film now.
Yeah.
I can go and say, hey, you can come to me and say, hey, like I need to make a commercial for this. I need to shoot some promotional videos for my book. I need to I need to develop and write and produce a screenplay.
Right.
I can do all those things now. And because I was thrown into the gauntlet, every single day that we failed at something was a day that we learned.
Yeah.
And there's no way that you can learn that in school. There's no way you can learn that from any way than just being thrown into the gauntlet, taking the opportunity, taking action, and then just learning. That's it.
But I think there's a reason too that's not the normal course of learning, right? I mean, like there's a certain sensitivity that's involved with learning, and not everyone can handle trial by fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not everyone. It doesn't mean they're not great. It doesn't mean that they're not accomplished. That doesn't mean that they don't have any potential. It just means that they may prefer learning a different way. Mm-hmm. So I am a full supporter of the way that you learned it, because that's the way I like to learn something, is being thrown into an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
And then kind of fighting your way out of it by learning. But I don't know who's to say it's the best way to do things. I think it's cool. But what I'm saying is that it's not the only way to learn something. I don't know how I came to this tangent, to be honest with you, but like I just don't want people out there to think that like the only way to truly be successful and to learn through something is to be thrown into a pit and fighting your way out.
But action is a key component to learning.
And action,
absolutely.
Action
yeah.
is you essentially throwing yourself into an unknown situation, because when you take action, you don't know what the result is going to be. So you are in some way throwing yourself into the fire. And getting back to what your question was what was the biggest takeaway? One of my biggest takeaways was really perseverance, because you guys went through years of struggle, and there was extreme highs and low lows, and you got funded, then all of a sudden we can't get the post production done, and now we're sitting here like Dan said, he said we literally had to die. And for all of you guys to believe in something enough to want to stay in it while it was just really shitty, that just shows perseverance, and that you believed in something, that you were willing to stick with it to get this thing done. And I don't know if that's all of your guys' mentality. I'm pretty sure at some point somebody was like, fuck this. I'm out of here.
I'm telling you right now, it's tough. And, I might actually take this opportunity to segue into our next guest that we interviewed for the next week, Don Yeager.
Do you want to do that?
I think we can kind of meld these two, and then we can go more into Don afterwards. Cool. But Don, in short, he's the master first of all, he's a master storyteller. But what he does, one of his last books that he wrote was about what makes great teams great. And
Yeah, I mean, he interviewed 110 of the most successful sports teams of all
teams
time.
that he could get access to. He
to
said there's a lot
pull-
more, but
yeah, of course, that he get access to. But I mean, to pull the wisdom from literally 110 of the most successful groups of great people in our history. I mean, imagine what you could learn from that. And when we got to hear it firsthand, it was really neat. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
was a great
basically, like, but a lot of the points that he brought up, and we can get more into that in a little bit, was, there's certain aspects of what makes a great team great, right? And, if it wasn't for the ones that we had as a team, maybe studios, my film company, then we wouldn't have got it this far at all.
Sure.
Right.
If we had a few more of them,
Yeah.
we might have finished a little bit, earlier than
Yeah,
we have, and
right.
we might have some better distribution deals at this point, and we might, not be as like exhausted from the entire experience.
Right.
So, it's
No, but that sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
no, go
that
ahead.
brings up a really interesting point is how was your leadership? I mean, how do you think that your leadership was of that team? Were there a bunch of all-stars kind of working together?
I actually brought that up in the episode. I said, one of the things that I wish we would have done was gone up front, got in front of what our responsibilities were going to be, and stick to them. And it's important that there's some kind of symbiotic relationship when it comes to working on a grassroots kind of thing like that. But when you cross over too much, then you just can't push the rock anymore. There's just too many like cooks in the kitchen. Cooks in the kitchen. And it happened on the film set, it happened in post-production, happened in pre-production. And it's just the fact that we were trying to act as that full symbiotic single organism being, in sync, like avatars. We're like in like Sam Worthington and the little blue guy just kind of mind melding, and that's just not a real scenario.
Right.
And I said, I wish from my perspective, I wish I would have just played the role of CFO the entire time.
or producer? I mean,
Well, that's
in the
effectively-
conventional sense, right? Not by title, because
Right.
maybe you were the producer by title, but realistically speaking, there is there's an order, there is
Yes.
Yeah, there's a pecking order. There's
There's a
hierarchy.
pecking order, but like why I say that is because Dan, if we're going to cross the titles for the film industry and the corporate world, the director is the CEO. Okay, so they're the vision.
not the producer.
The producer is the CFO. They're the
Now, would the producer be the CFO, or would they be the financial investor? I mean,
They would be the CFO. So they're the people who are saying, "Okay, CEO, this is your vision, and you want to control these aspects of your vision and create it and share it to the world. My responsibility is to cross the barrier from the money where it comes from and try to find that happy medium of getting your vision as reasonably as possible with the resources that we have."
So I'll argue that, because what I've heard about a production company. Let's talk about a production company versus a producer, which is more
Sure.
prevalent in the industry. A production company doesn't give a fuck what the director is trying to accomplish. They care about the revenue that will be generated from the project, and they care about how
Right.
it appeals to the audience overall.
So this
which
was-
is
this
far
would be-
different from the
certain-
CEO. I mean, from the CFO. The CFO is built specifically under the founder, under the CEO, and they are built to facilitate the CEO or the CFO's dream. They're built to literally spread their message as the CEO sees fit. But a production company is bankrolling, and a production company is someone that has much more influence, from what I've seen, than a CEO would. I mean, than a CFO would.
there's a little there's when it comes to like a studio like Paramount, Universal Studios, they work with smaller companies that are the production companies, which make up a company of producers and the other members of that company, whether it be the director, who is also usually a producer as well, like Steven Spielberg is the producer and director of all of his films.
Yeah.
So what he puts himself in a pretty good position because he not only has tons of influence of how the money is spent, he's also, really kind of dialed into the art as well. So that's probably why he's
That's
done
why
so
he's
well for
more
himself
successful than
Yeah,
most.
sure.
Yeah.
But he was also on the lot at Universal, just like telling people what's up every day.
No, but I feel like, kind of going to where you guys are saying, I feel like the production company at some point has to buy into the vision of the director, because if they're distributing the money, like if the director says, "I want all these blue people at the tree,
Yeah.
getting little orbs of energy, drawn into them," it's going to cost this much. The producer's going to say, "Figure out a way to get it done for this," and
Sure.
that can kind of interfere with the vision of the director to a certain extent, So, excuse me. I feel like your position, kind of going back to what Dean was saying, was you were more of the CFO,
Yeah.
but with like more investment, like with the investment of a production company, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how I went there, so, and with it being such a thin, like you guys were wearing multiple hats, so, it's really hard to
tough when
pinpoint.
you have such a small team.
Right,
We didn't
exactly.
have like 60 line producers
Right,
and like
exactly.
a bunch of production assistants and like all these people like down the line.
Right.
We all had to hustle and like
Yeah.
do whatever we had to do to get the job done.
Right.
But if we did it more, because I said this in the episode too, and then, like I'm kind of spilling the beans to everything at least I said, you'll get a lot more from Chaz, Dean, and Dan.
Chaz, Dan, and Dan. Not
Chaz,
Dean
Dan, and Dan.
And Dean in spirit.
In
Dean
spirit, he was there.
But and shit, I was gonna say because of that. Yeah, it's cool, guys.
we'll find a point to end that topic.
No, I think there's a lot to learn. Oh, nope. I think there's a lot to learn from that episode, just beyond, pecking order. But I do think that it's interesting, and it will help people sculpt their teams.
Right.
I think there's a lot, even when, look, a lot of times I help write the descriptions that are tied on to.
You read all the
The-
descriptions. Yeah.
I write descriptions, but
all of this.
but
Sometimes I help myself write the description.
I help it out myself.
Like a cool description post.
So what I was saying is that, we lined it up to be more about dynamics of failure versus overcoming complications and challenges and finding ways to do that and learning that you kind of, like a drug addict, you got to hit rock bottom before you can get better kind of thing. But in the context of a business situation. And I think that there's a lot more than that after listening to it a few more times, which is just learning about the dynamics of a team and learning about how you should shape your team to make sure that you can navigate around all the different issues that are going to come
Yeah.
up. And I think there's a lot to learn there.
Absolutely. You hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
That was my loud lip smacking.
Yeah.
When we crank into
Absolutely.
like a dope beat. He's all, oh, you hear that?
Sample that shit.
All right, so let's.
Sorry,
Okay,
everyone.
cool. Yeah,
Sorry,
so
my
let's get
bad.
into Don, Mr. Don Yeager, expert
Don
writer.
Julio. Don Yeager.
So I want to talk about Don real quick because I was able to join originally for about, I don't know, a quarter. I mean, just being straight up, it was very difficult for me to join in on that episode, and I tried to be part of it as well I could, but it was impossible based on the circumstances, and I was trying.
Yeah, it was our first episode where we
We were all in different places.
all
all
in
in different
different
places.
That sucked.
Us and the guest.
Because look, you get a Don Yeager, and you don't let him off the hook.
Right.
You don't let
No,
you don't
you've
let the
gotta
bait
pull
go,
out.
man. You go for it. Who gives a shit? So
No, you do what you got to
so
do.
we did what we had to do. We it is the 5 o'clock hustle, and we all were at like the 1 o'clock hustle.
Yeah,
So
it was lunch. It was definitely lunch.
it was lunch, but man, we were all working.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was at a restaurant. Where were you guys?
I was in a laundry room.
Chris in the laundry room.
Yeah, I drove home for lunch.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Quote unquote lunch.
So it was tough, man. But you got to do what you got to do. I think that's a good lesson in and of itself. Like, make it happen. You know? Like you don't quit. You don't quit when you have something that's big and when you have something that's important. You just go after it. Yeah. And it may not come out the way that you think it's going to come out, but it's still better than not doing anything.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
got to show up.
So get the after it.
Show up and show out.
Yo, grow up.
Show up and blow up.
But
Showed up. What's that from? What's that from? Showed up.
I don't know, but the face
your
is
face is ridiculous.
right now.
The pursed lips and the weird eyebrows. I dig.
Showed up.
So whenever you guys are done. So
Mr. Don Yeager. So let's get into it.
Mr. Damn Don. I mean, he had so much to say that I couldn't even hear. But after, I've gone back.
First of all, he's an 11-time New York Times bestselling author. He's written books with the top. No, like they're legendary athletes.
My man,
right?
my man
John Wooden
lived with Walter Payton in like the last months of his life to write his book. Like,
dude,
what?
he was Walter Pate before Don Yeager got on him and then he changed his name. You heard that story?
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, dude, don't put some respect on Walter Payton.
Man. Dude, he literally spent time with all the greats. Who was his neighbor? Freaking Shaq? No, I'm kidding.
He's from Florida.
Why did you want to say Shaq is not with me?
He's from Florida.
So weird.
Remember, those are the only two people that live in Florida. That and a bunch of Cuban people.
But look, I mean, like he spread some of the most wisdom of any guest that we've had.
Oh
like,
yeah. Well, the thing is, like he's probably like in terms of experience in everything. He's probably
and earnings.
He's the eldest, let's say, guest that we've had on. Correct?
Yeah. No, I would just go ahead and say what you're trying to say. Yeah, he was literally the most successful by numbers and by volume of exposure that we've ever had on the show.
Ever.
And that's not to discredit or discount because there's different criteria for success, right?
Right.
So it's not just that you make the most money and you reach the most people, but if it were to be that, that's him. That's him. He's a global speaker. He's in the top 1% of earners in the world. He speaks to Fortune 50 companies.
Yes.
I mean, like literally the top companies in the world, the ones that are creating the jobs that sell us the shit that we are drinking and eating in front of us right now.
He scored on Michael Jordan.
That's true.
He scored a bucket on Michael Jordan,
and we're not talking about on the craps table. Like this
on the basketball court.
He squared up on him.
He dropped a bucket.
On
him. Michael Jordan, bro. I think that this is an important, and no disrespect to anyone, but this is why I think this is important to really, really know who you're dealing with, because on the surface, like you say, Don Yeager, right?
Yeah.
And nowadays, what's the first thing you do? You go look him up on Instagram, social media, this and this and that. And no disrespect to him, you wouldn't look at him and think that he's done the things that he's done if you go to social media and find him. You know what I'm saying? But as far as impact that he has made, like that's why it's so important for people to do the research on people, regardless of whatever field you are in, like know who the top people in your field are. Don't look at numbers, surface numbers, followers, things like that. It's so not important. This guy has made so much more of an impact than most people like ever will, and he doesn't have to have the millions and millions of followers on Instagram because he's got millions and millions of followers in life.
Yeah.
11 best-selling books, and he dropped buckets on Michael Jordan.
He sold
impact.
millions.
It's about impact. Kids, listen. It's about your impact that you make.
What's
funny?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What's interesting about his writing is that he's always taken like kind of the second chair for the majority of his works, right?
Rose.
He's taken the second chair to the majority of his works because he's writing books for John Wooden. He's telling John Wooden's story with John Wooden.
Right.
But he is the person putting the the words on the paper.
Right.
You know? So it's an interesting dynamic that he brings out because, you know, he's, first of all, the great teams thing, it kind of goes back to that because he's working with these people to make these, you know, he's telling these stories. And I just think that's so freaking cool that he's able to bring out these stories and just sell millions and millions of books doing something like that, where he's not, you know, I don't know where I'm going with this. I just think this is such a cool ass.
And then, but I think the most valuable thing, because number one, he's writing these books for, like, everything that you said. He's playing second chair to these people. He's writing these books, but most importantly, he's taking the lessons in the books and from these people, and he's in turn sharing them with the world, you know, sharing them with the people he's speaking. You know, he's one of the top motivational speakers as far as what earnings is concerned, or I don't know. But this guy, like, I mean, who gets the opportunity to, you know, sit with John Wooden and write his story?
He like lived with all these people. He was like, I'm moving in your house just so you know.
Because this is how it has to go. That's it, you know, whatever. That's his process. But then you take all those lessons, and it's like we've been talking about, you know, on past episodes and past Squadcast, is action. Like, he's taking these things and he's putting them to action into his own personal life, and then he's giving it to other people to force them to, you know, be actionable. And I think that is so cool because he's getting literally lessons from the best. And he's applying them, and that's, you just don't get that.
And it all started with the side hustle, you know, like it was just such an insane kind of thing. He was you know, doing his thing for like a local newspaper, and then he started doing like posts, or not they weren't posts back then, they were just articles.
Exactly. Articles,
the Sports Illustrated freelancing, and you know, that was his side hustle, and then he got one of 30 editor jobs globally for the biggest sports magazine of all time.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. Like, he didn't get his position by sitting back, getting a college degree, and being like, "Oh, I'm sure one of these companies will reach out to me." You know, like, dude reached out to tens and tens and tens and ten. I don't want to say hundreds because that's awkward, but like tens, like so many different companies, and put himself out there and would not stop. And finally, the person that he got on the phone, he wouldn't let him off the phone.
Right.
And it's like, there's a trend. There's a trend here. There's hardworking people that are making a difference. Like, he didn't sit back. He didn't wait for the opportunity to come to him.
Right.
He went out and he chased it. 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 And when he finally, like, got his paws around it, he grasped as tight as he could, would not let it go.
Right.
And then, look at him 20, 30 years later, whatever it is.
Right.
He literally in the top 1% of his industry.
Yeah, and I think that's you know, that's a very important point, because I hear all the time, you know, when preparation meets opportunity, it equals success, you know? And I see a lot of people preparing, they're working on their craft, they're, you know, writing a lot, they're doing this and they're doing that. And they're kind of sitting back and waiting for the opportunity, myself included. I find myself like, oh, okay, well, I've been preparing, but when is that opportunity going to come? Dude was preparing and actively looking for the opportunity. Like, he was going out, like you said, he was talking to people. So if that's the magic combination, when preparation meets opportunity to equal success, prepare, but then go find the opportunity. Like, work on finding the opportunity. I think that's a very, very important lesson to learn too.
And even next to that, it's like, I hear so many people say that I'm so good.
Right.
I'm so good at this.
I'm so good.
I'm so good at this. I don't understand why I'm not blowing up.
Right.
It's like, well, you're busy venting about how you're not blowing up. That's the problem.
You're complaining to everyone why you're not blowing up.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
Show up.
Is it Christopher Walken's over? That's the problem. You know, you're not going after it.
Right.
You are not the hardest working person in the room. And if you want to be successful, you need to be the hardest person, the hardest working person,
and the
or
hardest
if you
person.
Want to go to Pornhub, you can be the hardest person in the room. But you need to be the hardest working person in the room.
And he does it to this day. He hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
You know, he did it when he was freelancing for Sports Illustrated. He did it while he was working there as the editor. He did it when he transitioned to speaking. And you know what? He came on our podcast. You know, he was episode, number 19?
True.
Episode number 19. And he's coming on our show with, you know, not a whole lot of, I'll be honest, we don't have a whole lot of exposure. It's growing,
Walter
growing.
Payton, John Wooden, freaking George
George
Jefferson.
Jefferson.
George Washington.
Michael Jordan.
He did write a book about George Washington. by the
Abraham
way.
Lincoln.
5 o'clock hustle.
Not Abraham Lincoln.
We're
No,
up there
that's
now.
So true,
We're
man.
up
He
there
takes
now.
the look. His intentions are true.
Yes.
He's paying it forward. He knows that our listeners, you guys out there, deserve to hear what he has to say, but he's not greedy with his time. I mean, that's so huge. It's amazing. He's worked this hard. He's gotten this far, and yet he still takes over an hour. He takes the time to prepare, and he takes the time to come on here and speak with us, which is mind-blowing.
And he said himself, never stop the grunt work.
Never stop the grunt work. He said a lot of cool shit.
He
Yeah,
said
I
a
hope
bunch of
everyone
cool
will go
shit.
back and listen to the episode with Don Yeager. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
don't let the sound quality deter you from like this. Is just so many things in this episode where I think you just need to listen regardless of whatever.
I
And
ate
sorry about the
soup.
sound quality.
Yeah.
Getting better.
And it's that brings me back. Like it reminds me of doing Noob Camp with Mayview. Like I was like, we now know what we have to do to
Right.
make this a better
Exactly.
thing. So
Exactly.
those failures is just going to give better and better and better product every single time.
Yeah.
And like what else can we say about Don? Should we start talking about our next guest on the list here?
I would love to, but I just want to talk about Don. all
Okay,
day.
let's go for it.
No, we're good. We can move on to
Well,
the-
like-
okay, so wait.
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing that we should talk about, though, for real. I mean, so there are takeaways that we got from listening to Don, and there are takeaways that we got from getting Don.
Yeah.
So maybe let's cut over back. I think we covered a little bit, but let's cut over back to what we got as a company from interviewing a Don.
What we got from him.
Yeah, what did we get? Like what did we learn as 3 individuals that are starting a business ourselves from interviewing someone that's the top of their industry?
Well, number one, we need to be. What I learned is that we need to be ready to go at any given moment.
And
'cause-
prepared, yeah.
And prepared. Like I said, when preparation meets opportunity equals success. Luckily, we all persevered through it and we figured out the way to do it.
Yeah.
Whether it was having to buy a soup, like to get it done, like whatever happened, like we stuck with it and we made a way. We found a way to get it done, but we learned from that experience, and we now know that in a certain situation, in a situation like this again, we have to be more prepared. We have to really think about what it's going to take for us to, make the quality sound better, to make the, and these are things that are important to us. They may not be so necessarily important to our listeners, but for us it is. It's a company. We're not just going to be like, oh, whatever, we'll just give it to them. It's freaking Don Yeager. That's what we had to do, but it's not because we wanted to do it that way. We wanted to make it sound great, and we did our best. And so now it's just about
Well, you made
finding,
it sound great.
Well,
Okay.
well, thank you.
You guys keep doing this. You're like, Dean's like, I write some of the things. And then Gray's like, I edit some of the episodes. I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Chris does everything else.
Yeah,
so.
Chris does everything else. So, and he was like, "No, I just didn't do much of it. I just."
Okay, so here's what we just learned then: preparation, flexibility, and humility.
That's right.
Out of one episode, seriously. I mean,
Truth.
that's
Truth.
the
Shakalaka.
truth. And if you guys and gals are not going back and looking at every experience that you have and figuring out what you learned and what you could have learned, then you're missing a step.
Yeah,
Yes.
There has to be so much, not only introspection, but retrospection about, you have to soak in everything to be successful in this world. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of moving parts.
yeah.
Be on top of it.
Yes.
You're never too good to stop learning.
Boom.
Fucking learn.
F word.
Okay, so let's transition to the next guest just so we can move things along. And I think it's kind of it was kind of a perfect follow up because our next guest, Julian Hayes II, who started the art
You
of.
do not call him Junior.
Do not call him Junior.
Call him Junior.
He started the art of fitnessandlife.com, and he's a sleep expert. But he kind of followed the same. He's on the same path that Don was on, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
he's going out. He's hustling his ass off.
Yeah.
He is going to tons of publications, and he's a columnist for some of the top business publications, including like Inc. magazine. He has a weekly column. it seems like he's on the same kind of plane,
Like trajectory, yeah.
You know, like in 20 years or 10 years or 5 years from now, Julian could be doing a lot of the same stuff that Donna has been able to do, and I'm just really excited for his career as well. And he was just a really fun guy to have on.
That was he probably was one of the more just enjoyable guests to have on, just because he was so like just free flowing with the conversation. You know, he had a lot to offer, but he was just
relaxed.
Yeah, he was just relaxed, and I think it's because he sleeps, guys. He sleeps, man. Like I think it's so like now I'm like it's so important to sleep because it really can affect your mood and and your health and your everything, man. And he had a lot of interesting, I like to call them hot takes, like listening to Marvin Gaye will get you fit. I'm like, what, bro? Like, tell me all about. I've been listening to Marvin Gaye my whole life, and I'm still working on some things, But but he was great, man. I really enjoyed having Julian on.
Well, Julian, he's like I said, he started the artoflifeandfitness.com, and he's a sleep expert, he's a nutrition expert, he's a fitness expert, and now he's trying to transition his coaching career to the business world, and that's what he's been doing for like the last year or so, maybe 2 years. And like I said, he's been making his way into publications, and I really liked his story about how he actually got to where he is today when it comes to his writing. Yeah, he said he wasn't a good writer. Like again, this ties in so perfectly with Don.
Yeah.
But he reached out to like his inner circle. He found someone who was good at writing, and he pulled like what you were saying earlier about learning things different ways. He learns a different way than I do, probably.
Yeah.
He found someone who's been there.
Right.
He found a mentor to help him edit his articles, and it got better and better and better.
Right.
And he went from his local newspaper all the way up to being on Inc. and Entrepreneur and all these huge, like bodybuilding.com, all these huge publications. Yeah. And I thought this was really cool.
Yeah, and I will say it pissed me off too, because I got, I had some people reach out to me that left some comments that talked about the fact that they were upset that he didn't give away more of his secrets about how to sleep effectively, right, or things like that. And I was like, yeah, but if we were to interview James Quincy, who's the CEO of Coca-Cola, I don't think he'd be telling us his secret ingredients.
Right.
Like,
he wouldn't be telling you the recipe.
So sorry, everyone. No, that's not what this is about. This is about learning from their experiences and how they overcame hurdles and how,
right,
their journey. And this is about pulling tools and then putting them in your belt.
Yeah. And as much as I'd like to be, we're not a fitness podcast.
Right.
No, nor are we. Look, these people, experts, all of our guests have to, they have their own livelihood too. If they sat on here and spent 14 hours explaining exactly what their secret was,
right,
they would no longer have that livelihood.
They're here to guide, not give.
So as business people, we have to understand that the same way that we do. We are pulling teasers and we're pulling glimpses of what could be. If you want to learn the full secrets, then nothing in life is free.
Yeah.
Reality. Sorry everyone.
Sorry.
Look, the only thing that's free is the conversations that we're having, and hopefully they allude to a lot of learning for you.
Yes.
But at the same
It'll
time,
be free forever.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you want to get into the intricacies of like how your circadian rhythm in 3-hour units can affect the different endorphins flowing through your brain cycle and how they will, 9 times your multipliers of your.
I know some of these words.
Then you're gonna have to. You have to dig deeper.
Yeah,
that's just a reality, and that's on you. That's on you. That's on the entrepreneur. That's on the explorer. That's on the scientist. That's on the person that wants to learn more and perfect their craft, and that is on the expert. And that's why we interview a person like a Julian Hayes, because he is the expert. He did take the time, and hopefully you get a lot from it.
Dude, and that's, I'm sorry, that just kind of got me fired up, and I'm not going to go too long about this, but I feel like that's a lot of the problem. And I was like this, and sometimes I still find myself being like this, but I was like this, and it pissed me off. The fact that I felt that certain people owed me anything. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's kind of what shifted my mind, like as far as just anything, whether it's just going to work, whether it's with my children, whether it's with my wife. Like, you have to pardon my language, you have to fucking do it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't come over here
Wait,
saying
it was an adverb that you couldn't even avoid an adverb. That's amazing.
like Julian, he has this wealth of knowledge, and he spent a lot of his life gaining this knowledge, and you want him to give away everything that he's learned in his entire life over an hour podcast, and then you get upset when he doesn't do it. How about Instagram him, DM him, ask him how do I get more into it? You know what I'm saying?
Articles.
Look at his weekly articles. Do
I signed up for it.
The fucking work. Like sorry,
work.
I'm getting jazzed
No,
up.
and you know what? I'm going to build on that. I just wrote out a business plan for someone, and it was great. And we spent 25 hours on it. They referred me to a friend of theirs. And so I started speaking with a friend, and they were like, well, how do you do this? I said, well, I have a template that I've built. And they said, okay, great. Well, how much is the cost? And I said, it's about, 10 to 15 grand. Mm-hmm. And they go, well, it's a template. Why is it 10 to 15 grand? And I said, because I've spent the last 15 years building it.
Yeah.
Which costs a lot more than 10 to 15 grand. Your value, your service, your learning, your college degree, your ability is worth a lot more than whatever the end game is, whatever the product is. And I don't give a fuck about what people are paying me. I'm telling you this because you need to value yourself. Mm-hmm. You're learning right now. You're taking the time to listen to this. You're taking the time to hopefully internalize some of the lessons that these great successful people are sharing with you. And all we can do is hope that you value yourself enough to make some money off it, and to be comfortable and to be happy, but to justify the fact that you took the time and you took the effort to better yourself. Yep. And that you're helping other companies, you're helping other people, and you're doing the right thing. So that, we all have our rants real quick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a little bit. This is our
opportunity. I got
opportunity.
a little more fired up than Dean. Dean said it. He spoke more eloquently and more calm and reserved. I got a little fired up. I apologize, listeners.
F you. Fired up.
98%. God damn it.
Throwback.
But it's all important. You gotta look. You gotta be who you are. Like that's the other important part of business is be real.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling a real way, like just let it out. Let your soul glow.
Just do it. Let
and for glow. just to put a button on the whole situation of people being maybe disappointed and not getting enough sleep tips. If you go to 5o'clockhustle.com/sleep right now, there's the episode page from the episode.
From the episode.
And if you scroll down the page, you can watch a video with 3 simple tips on how to help your sleep. And it's been there. It's been there for 2 weeks, guys.
And you would have known that
Look
if
at the
you just typed in 5o'clockhustle.com/sleep instead of typing, why didn't he give it away for free right now?
Sorry. And look, this doesn't represent the majority of you. It's a very small minority of people that are reaching out to us like, hey, you should have given us the secrets of why I can't sleep at night because my light's on or some shit. Yeah. And it's like, come on. Like, do your work. This isn't what this is about. We're not catering to you. We're catering to the people that want to put in the time, want to put in the effort, and want to be better, and they want to be successcil.
Yeah.
And there's your lesson.
That's
here's
all
your
it
sign.
is. Look,
here's your sign.
Here's your sign. You want to know what CEOs do? We'll tell you. They're action-oriented. They're devoted. They're generally genuine people that give a shit.
Facts.
Do those things. Do those things.
That's all you can ask for.
No big deal.
That's
Not a big deal.
for.
Look, we
Hey,
know,
and
we know
they
what
probably
it takes.
also get some sleep as well. Yes. So
Some of them do.
yeah, some of them maybe
Actually,
not.
some of them probably say "fuck Julian." Yeah. And that's no
Well, it's
offense
so
to
funny.
Julian.
I
but
feel
it's
like I feel like Gary Vee would totally just not be with his whole thing. You know?
even like because we brought it up a little bit in the episode. Like I've been following was Hal I don't know how to say his name. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
he's an Arabian prince, yeah.
Hal Elrod, and he's the guy that wrote the Miracle Morning. One of our guest co-hosts mentioned the book. That's why I read
I've
it.
been fake reading parts of that.
And
Sorry, I'm really gonna read it.
Brandon, our good friend Brandon Jobs mentioned it, and I obviously bought it on my Kindle like the next day.
It's free on Amazon Prime.
Sick.
Super clear.
I bought it. No. Are you sure?
Oh yeah, I downloaded it.
I'll Google it right now.
I
I
read the first 3 pages at least.
Okay.
It's free as F.
Well, I've transitioned to waking up about 45 minutes before I have to go to work to waking up 3 hours before I have to go to work, and I can tell you right now, it's increased my productivity like crazy. I just think I'm supposed to operate at that time. Like, I don't think, like, Dre, you go to the gym like really early in the morning like that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know if you feel good about it.
Dude, I love it. It's literally like it's the equivalent of like, people.
Wait.
Like
Sorry, that was weird.
What?
But can we just make this a thing where we talk about some things that we think are really important to our success?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So hey everybody, guess what? Dre has something to share with you about how he goes to the gym every morning, and it's super, super crucial to his success.
Yeah. So
Dre, go ahead.
So my 4:00 in the morning gym sessions. That intro just made it so awkward for me to talk about that. But anyway,
Can we do a version of like what just happened? Like, obviously not the whole thing, but like compress it to where it's like even more hilarious.
no, we can absolutely do that.
Okay,
That would
good.
be fucking
All right.
great.
And even this part.
Yeah, this
Anyway.
part, keep that in there. And this.
Dre, what do you do to be successful?
No, I don't know how much is attributed to my success, but I do get up at 4:00 in the morning. Sometimes 4:15 when I want a little extra 15 minutes of sleep.
Miserable.
No, but I go to the gym, and it's really for some reason, I've never been a morning person, and going to the gym this early, number one, there's like nobody there. So, and not that I have like
Because they're all less fucking crazy than you are.
because everybody's pretty much asleep. The only people that are there, ironically, are like elderly, like women who like they're in there crushing it. Like they're ellipticaling so hard. Like just on the elliptical, and there's like this sweet little old lady that I talk to, and she like gets on me because I don't rack my weights. She's like, sweetheart, you need to pick that up. And it's like a 45 plate. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, you could do it. And she's like, no, I can't. She's like super frail, but she's just in there. Anyway, I digress. No, but it's become one of those things for me where I feel like I'm doing something that not everybody else is doing. And I feel like it gives me a edge on the day, it just gives me like hey, this is something that I did this morning. And when I don't do it, like I feel like crap, my mornings get all like, and when I go to the gym 4:00 in the morning, I come home, I take a shower, I make breakfast for myself, for my son, wake my son up. Like everything is just on point. It's just regimented, The days that I don't go to the gym, everything is loose because I wake up at like whatever time, like I don't have an alarm. Like I'll just wake up, and then like my son's like tapping me on the shoulder, like, Dad, what's up, dude? Where's my breakfast? And like everything is chaos, So it's kind of like my anchor point, like at the end, at the beginning of the day, you do this, and then everything else follows afterwards. And it kind of keeps me, and after that, my day gets hectic because at work, things can go left, they can go right, they can go up, they can go down. But
totally.
it's the one thing that gets me started the right way, and it's kind of like how you guys were talking about the Miracle Morning. I haven't read it, but that's just my version of a Miracle Morning.
Yeah, I just want to add on that a little bit because, like I said, I've been doing my Miracle Morning, and like you said, like I don't feel right if I don't do it.
Right.
And the other day I ran out of my Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee.
God damn it!
Yeah.
And if you go to our website, you can get a discount on that.
It is so good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, seriously, guys, go to 5o'clockhustle.com/mushroom coffee, and we have a little giveaway going. All you have to do is subscribe to our newsletter, which you'll just get our podcast.
Dude, I love that last review. I forget her name.
That was great.
But she was like, "Thank you so much for the free coffee." Like, it was so funny.
That was great.
People think we're full of shit, but like,
we
sent her coffee.
First of all, you get a discount. Second of all, I'm going to send you a packet of the Four Sigmatic mushroom coffee right to your mailbox. So if you don't do that, then you're just crazy.
Put it right in your box.
Whoa, dude. But oh my gosh. All right. So what I was saying before is like I ran on the mushroom coffee, and then it was like I just found it. I was like, I'm out of my routine.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
I have to stop everything. No, and
every crisis
because
lockdown
one of the things is from Miracle Morning is motion creates emotion. So like you have to get your body moving. You have to get your things like in order. And I didn't like what I was doing before is I was setting up literally every single night before I woke up. I would have my coffee like ready to like go to where I could just heat up the water, and because you just mix it up with a forced amount of coffee,
right?
And you heat up the water. I have my vitamin D that I take. I have my oregano oil, and I'm ready to go. I start writing. I'm writing a book right now. You'll hear more about that in a month. But that's why I've been kind of doing it because me writing my book is your gym right now,
right?
And I wish your gym was my gym right now too, because I'm feeling it a little bit. But there is a weird aspect of having your habits there, but how they can become debilitating, like you said.
Right.
Like it's hard to pull yourself up when you get rocked out of your routine. And I think it's the opposite, or not the opposite, but the same thing for when it comes to bad habits.
Right.
Like when you have to stop doing bad habits, it's the same exact feeling almost.
Right.
Obviously, it's way better when it's a good thing.
When it's a good thing, yeah.
But like,
and I try to be as flexible as possible. Not, I mean, I don't want to say flexible as possible, but I try not to let it affect me as much. Like, so if I don't get up and go to the gym, like I'll kind of try and remember, like, so say I wake up at like 5:30, I'll be like, okay, at 5:30, or at 6, because I typically get home at 6. So like if I wake up at 6, I'm like, what am I doing at this point? Like if I've already gone to the gym and I got home, like now what am I doing? So I try and kind of pick up where I left off, but it makes it a little bit harder. So I try and stick to a routine, but I have to realize that there has to be some flexibility there. So I don't like stress myself out if I don't go to the gym, but it just gets a little more hectic,
So, like that's your thing. Obviously it's also kind of my thing too.
Yeah.
But, if I were to choose like the one thing that's like really been kind of driving my success is just it's kind of hard to encapsulate into a single concise message, because it's more of like you have to buy into it. Whatever it is that you're doing, if like in order to be successful at it, for people like me, I'm gonna say, is that you have to buy into it. You have to believe what you're doing is going to end in the result. If you don't believe it, just stop right there.
Right.
Either that or try to find the things that don't spend too much time on it.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you to spend a lot of time on trying to convince yourself that you're going to excel at a thing that you just don't believe in. And I think that's why a lot of people listening to this podcast are, they have the same feelings because they too want to start side hustles. They want to write books. They want to make movies. They want to do articles for Inc.com and do whatever else. But if you can't buy into it, if you don't believe in yourself, then it's going to end right there. Right. So we all feel it. We're all meant. We all have our core strength. And I can't remember where I remember hearing that, but someone was talking about, or I read somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I just thought it myself.
Hot takes.
Everyone has their core strength, and if you take a little bit of time, you know what it is. And you can attach that to a lot of different skill sets that you possess, and they can meld together, and it can become an incredible thing. Or you can sit back, take what everybody else has to say to you, and then you're just kind of like, okay, I'm being shuttled into this little basket of things that I'm forced to do,
right?
Even though I don't love it and I'm not good at it, and I'm just never going to excel.
Yeah.
So if you can't buy into it, then you just have to scrap it. And if you do, just go for it. That's what I do every single day. Is the things that I believe in, I go for it.
Yeah.
When it comes to like building our website, when it comes to just like reaching out to people that I care about, that I want to come have on the show so you guys can listen to them and learn from them, I reach out to them. Anytime I feel like, taking action, I just take action. And that's my driver of success at this point in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's sick. And it's something that people don't do, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But it is a reality that literally every person that we interview that's successful on this podcast says that action is the number one driver of success. No shit. That's it. Isn't that a dumb fucking statement? Sorry, everyone for cursing, but isn't that a dumb statement?
Sorry, Grandma Scott.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Action isn't my number one driver of success. Duh. Duh. No shit. But
creates emotion.
how is that so hard?
Yeah,
Why is that?
even the person who won the lottery took action. They went to the store and they bought the lottery.
Yeah,
ticket.
no ticky, no laundry, bitch.
Exactly.
You got to play to win. This is all shit that's simple. Like, it's not that difficult. Well, I think that if there's something I've learned over the last however many months I've been doing this, it's that you don't need to be that special. You don't need to be that smart. You don't need to be, forward thinking. You don't need to be a visionary. You don't need to be an amazing athlete, an amazing talent, an amazing artist. You don't need to be shit. You just got to do the work. You got to come in day to day, hour to hour, maybe even a little after time, and you got to put in the fucking work.
Yeah.
Do your work. Do your job. Do it hard. Do it harder than anyone else. If you want to make sure, if you want to guarantee you're successful, work harder than everyone else around you.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, with the two of you, if I work harder than both of you, I would be more successful than both of you.
98%.
98%.
No, 108,000, 13, 8, 58, 2, 8. 2%. This is an easy thing.
Yeah.
This is literally an easy thing. We've interviewed so many people. The common denominator is action.
Mm-hmm.
Action. They keep going. They pride themselves on being more active than the rest of the people in the room. That's it's not hard.
Yeah.
Just devote yourself to it.
Dude, and kind of going back to what you said, it's like you don't have to be special. A lot of times, a lot of people just need to realize you ain't that special. You know what I'm saying? Like you're acting like the thing that you're gonna do is going to be like the amazing like thing, like what whatever. When really it's just the amazing thing that you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to check my ego at the door when it came to my music, because for so long, like I had been like oh man, you're gonna be so great at this, and oh, you have so much talent and this and this and that. And it starts to get to you when people start telling you this stuff. Mm-hmm. So you start to create bad habits because you believe that you're like, why, like you said earlier, why isn't this happening for me? I'm so talented. I'm so this and this and that. And it happens a lot in the artistic space for sure for me. And it could be in any other place as well, like sales. Like you could just have like a hot streak, like 10 sales, and you're like, I'm the shit. Like everybody bring your sales to me. And then all of a sudden dry spell, And you have to realize, like, even if you do have that crazy amount of talent and so many people believe in you, you have to say to yourself, like, look, check your shit at the door, because you can be the most talented person in the world, but if no one hears you, then you're nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the most talented person that no one ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? Or you're you're the greatest singer that never made an album, or you're the greatest writer that never wrote a book, because you're expecting things to happen for you. So you really have to check your ego at the door. And that's when really opportunities are going to open up for you. Like, and I'm not going to say much about it on the show, but I took a leap of like, just a crazy leap just the other day when it comes to music. And things are turning out pretty well, and we'll get to it later on when things actually start happening. But it was just an action. It was just an action that I took, because I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't care if this doesn't happen, because if it doesn't happen, then I'm at work. Then I'm doing what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like if I reach out and I say, hey, check this out, I want to work with you, this could be something great, blah, blah, and they don't think so, then I'm doing what I'm doing now, which is not a bad thing. Like I'm providing for a wife, 2 kids, like I'm doing pretty well for myself, like, and
hell yeah.
And I feel like I don't need to do these things, but I want to do these things. So I go out, I take a dive, And I check my ego at the door where I'm not like, oh, well, this person's gotta love what I'm saying. Like, he's gonna email me back because I'm the shit and I'm, like, whatever. Like, check your ego at the door, man, and just put in the work, because your work will show you who you are. Like, you can be the most talented person or whatever, but your work will show you. The people will show you.
And Dean, you mentioned it earlier, humility.
Humility.
Be grateful for every single ounce of talent that you have.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it will never beat its weight in hard work. It just won't.
Dude, Michael Jordan got cut. Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team.
I was listening to an interview with Peter Drucker recently, whatever the terminology is, and this guy said, he walked into his house, and it was actually Jim Collins. It's just so we're clear. Jim Collins.
Sure wasn't Tom Sawyer or
no, it was Jim.
Payton?
It was Jim Collins, and Jim Collins. It sounds like a silly joke. James Collins walks into Peter Drucker's house, and they spent a lot of time together, and eventually Peter Drucker goes, "Why are you so focused on being successful? Just focus on being useful." And it's like, does that not say so much to you? I mean, like, that's like from one of the most amazing visionaries of our time, and that will just, he's beyond anything we've ever thought of or dreamed of. And Peter Drucker, just be useful.
Yeah.
Be useful. Make an impact. Be significant. What more is there to it?
Yeah.
Like that, to me, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
That's all you need. Like,
Absolutely.
fuck the money.
Yeah.
Fuck the time. Fuck the people. Fuck the exposure. Fuck the marketing. Sorry for all the F words. But it's like, be useful.
Yeah, if you let go of your ego, I'm a firm believer that the money will come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's right in line with humility. You don't need to be cocky to make an impact.
Yeah.
In fact, that is probably counterintuitive to making an impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The quieter you are, the more you have time to affect change. You're not so worried about making a name for yourself. You're worried about making a change, making an impact. Yeah. So
you don't always have to be the wave. Just be a fucking ripple in the water, and the wave will come.
yeah, ripples last longer, bro.
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly effect.
Butterfly.
Oh, so we were talking
Butterfly
about
in the sky.
in earlier. Sorry, we were talking about things that we do that are
Yes.
that are
What's your
helping with success.
thing, bruh?
So I've started doing a number of things since we started this podcast. And what?
Oh.
Dre, your watch are cool?
No.
Cute.
It's not.
Sorry, guys, we're cutting it short.
No.
I'd say one of the things that I've started to do is, I am waking up earlier. I am reading more.
Nice.
But scheduling. For my, how do you put this? I'm scheduling based on my mental bandwidth at the different times of the day. So, for instance, in the morning, I have a hard time waking up. And that's one of the things I'm reading about with Miracle Morning is how to do that. Like, Miracle Morning is all about making the most of your morning and kind of why you should wake the fuck up. Mm-hmm. But, part of me is just like, I don't want to wake up.
Motion creates emotion, man. Got to get your body moving.
So what I've started doing is doing things that I know I can do quickly, but that generate a lot of brainwaves for me in the morning. So right now I'm taking the first 30 minutes of my morning to research and prospect for new people on our podcast. Cool. And what happens is that I get on and I suddenly just, boom, it generates this excitement for me that I can't even control whether or not it's going to wake me up, because it's going to. Mm-hmm. And so just by that action, and by kind of understanding myself and where I'm at that time in the morning, at 6 a.m, I know that I'm going to wake up because I can do nothing but get excited for what's happening.
Right.
So I spend a half hour every morning doing that, and it's worked out really well. I started segmenting my day, or more like my week, to be honest with you. So that is definitely, so right now I have 30 minutes every morning and 30 minutes every night that are devoted to this podcast. And I can explain more if you guys want to message me or anything like that. I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing, but that's the gist of it. I'm dividing my day into 30-second or 1 hour segments where I'm being productive and doing something.
30-second?
Sorry, 30-minute.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, dude.
My man is booked.
Bookered it. So it's either 30-minute or 1 hour segments of my day. But as I go throughout the day, I go to my 9 to 5, and my 9 to 5 is it's very demanding.
Yeah.
And so I have to find a way to be as efficient as I possibly can in that 9 to 5. So I've split up by 30 minutes, not seconds, and by hours of the day, things that I'm going to do throughout the day. And that's really helped me. Yeah. And also, giving yourself flexibility and knowing that you can't control every day, but that you can kind of pull forward and push back things that pop up. So that's why I'm saying the 30 minutes every morning and every night is something I can do every day because I know that I can be consistent. For the rest of the day, I'm kind of making weekly goals that are trying to be divided by hours of each day, but they're weekly goals so that I know that I can push them to the next day, or I can pull them back to a day early if I foresee that something's going to be more difficult. Yeah. And so that I said, I'm in sales. So take, for instance, I have a goal of 4 hours of learning. 3 hours of knowledge of current events, 3 hours of marketplace issues, 3 hours of industry issues, 5 hours of calling and emails, 3 hours of follow-ups. So it's about efficiency too, but it's all about splitting up your day into something that is going to create success if you split it up the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to make that into like a product. Like just off record and give that to 5 o'clock.
This is on record.
Well, I'll edit it. I'll edit this shit out.
Don't edit it out.
I think
partner up. You do the work, we'll
do the jerk.
No, because and it's interesting that you say that. It's because I was talking to my wife earlier this week, not earlier today, earlier this week, and I was telling her that I think I want to start time blocking.
Gotta live out your calendar, man.
Right, and I really, and it's
Shout
funny.
out to Greg Montrose.
And it's fun, and it's funny because when he mentioned that, like I knew what time blocking was, but like I was just like, yeah, that's cool that he does that. But then I really started looking at like how effective it can be for an unorganized person like myself, because I just, I've never been that organized. I've just always found a way to make it work. Last minute procrastination, things like that. But I'm finding, like, just like you, Dean, my 9 to 5 is quite demanding. And if I don't do certain things at a certain time, it can be the difference between us getting a job or us not getting a job. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like because I do estimating, I do books, I deal with customers, I do a little bit of logistics, I do a little bit of everything, because we're a smaller company, but we do large company work, like we do a lot and we're really good at it. And for me to be the best component that I can be within the company, I really have to wear a lot of hats. And, everybody's wearing a lot of hats. But I find for me as just a naturally unorganized person in this situation where things change every day, I can't just get systems in place. You know what I'm saying? Because things change every day. So I found that, just randomly, thinking about it, I was like, if I can time block my days, if I can get this day done, then like you said, the week as a whole will be a success. So whether it's I need 5 hours this whole week of just estimating, then I can break that out amongst my days, so then I could just kind of put it together that way. So I've been really trying to do that. And it goes back to how our last Squadcast where we gave, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to do the thing. And my thing was mentorship. I really put a hold on that because I've really just been trying to focus on getting my days But before I can do anything else, I really need to get control of my days, And and like I said, my mornings are solidified for the majority of the part, but it's my days, 9 to 5, and then after that, that really is kind of scattered, and it just gets, it's whatever it is. So I'm trying to time block and do those things that you're saying so that I can really focus on making the rest of that day as effective as my morning. So
And here's the good news. You weren't randomly thinking about this.
yeah, no, it's something that I got from doing this podcast.
Is literally something that we are pounding into each other
It is something
and
that I
into
got
our
from this
listeners
podcast. Yep.
from every damn
Yep.
podcast we
Yep.
do. We had a conversation this weekend, and it's like we literally understand every step that you need to take to be successful.
Is in the 5
It's right here. It's
in
right
here.
here. It's right in front of you. And right now, you may be able to choose whether or not to internalize it, but at some point, keep
gonna
listening, keep grinding, keep internalizing,
It is
and you're going to
gonna
have
happen.
no choice.
I am
Like
proof.
we are all experiencing.
Yeah.
Literally, we are
We're
all
all
experiencing this.
experiencing
You can do nothing. You can do nothing
Nothing.
but to take this shit into
Not a
action.
now,
No-
not a
nothing.
now nutter.
You can do nothing. But you put this shit to action. It's
Yeah.
not quotes.
Yeah.
This is not quotes.
action, man.
These are people that are sharing.
This ain't quotes,
tools.
B. This ain't quotes, B.
Yo,
Son,
Dunny?
Dunny, my youth.
all right. He gone.
Where are we at right now?
We're at an hour and 30.
Yo, this is
That's
a
it.
long episode, guys.
It is, man.
It was a good one, though. I think we got a lot of really, really good stuff out of this episode, just hashing out the past couple of
What, are
weeks.
we done?
You know, we can keep
For a
trucking
roll.
along.
You got a
Roll,
hat
bro.
on? Are you ready to see me?
I was about to like wrap it up.
It's getting ready to wrap it up.
What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. There's a lot.
No, I mean I think we've hit on a lot of good stuff, and I think the most important thing is that
Gonna hit our hosting limit.
I think the most important part is the most important thing that I'm getting out of this is really just listen to what's happening. Like on this show, like all the people that we talk to, they may be in complete different fields, but we're getting valuable lessons from these people and we're putting them into our lives and we're seeing the shift happen for the better. So just listen, keep listening and share with your team. Like if you're the only person listening and you're trying to drive your team to do better things or your friends or whoever, have them listen too, because it's eventually going to stick with everyone. We're all learning together. So let's just keep this learning together. Reach out to us, reach out to our guests, and let's keep it going, man.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I've gotten that's really cool out of this podcast too is like I started sharing it with my coworkers. Mm-hmm. I'm like, hey guys, guess what? We have this really
I interviewed Don Yeager.
Yeah. Oh my god. I did a Jaeger bomb to the mental face. It was incredible. No, but like it's really neat to stop thinking about this stuff as cool shit people say. Mm-hmm. It's not cool shit people say. This is real life learning. This is you leveraging the experiences of people that have been through exactly what you're going through at exact the same times that you're going through it and literally telling you how to come out the other end successful. Like, use that.
It don't get better than that.
Use
man.
that. Use that. We're all using it. And that is the cool thing. And that's what you're talking about, Dre, is like the fact that just listen to us if you want to. If you're having a hard time, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but fucking business ain't one.
But business ain't one.
Because we're listening.
We're listening.
Because we hear this. Like we are truly open-minded. We're hearing everything that all these people that are so kind to come onto our show are talking about.
Yeah.
And we hear it and we internalize it and we put it into action, and you're going to see differences in the way that we act and the way that we produce.
Yeah.
And we only hope the same is true for you.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom chakalaka.
Boom.
Should I add that?
Boom shine.
Anyways, I think, like it's about time to wrap this puppy up. Like I said,
Wrap the puppy up, dude.
wrap the puppy up in
Poor puppy.
a little blanket.
In a blanket.
In a blanket.
A little warm
Not like
blanket.
a scary box or something.
You had me
Wrap
worried,
this
dude.
cold puppy up.
Yeah, but I think it was a really great episode. I think we all learned a lot. I think we had a really great month. We recorded some good podcasts. You guys have listened
Huge
to a lot of
month.
them. We have a lot more.
We had a really good month with Don Yeager. This is really good. That's probably the best fucking month of the podcast.
No, you know what? Don Yeager's great. Julian was great.
New Camp.
Maybe Studios, my company. Maybe Studios.
Yeah, New Camp was super cool too.
They don't count.
Sorry.
They don't count. You know what?
That was essentially a Squadcast.
It was
we've
just
all
a really
known
big
each
squad.
other
It was
for
a double
so
squad.
long.
For
yeah.
me, it was like a dub squad.
Chris was on both squads.
But
so.
look, it's gonna keep coming, guys. We're working and gals. I'm sorry. We're working really hard to keep this level of content consistent.
Absolutely. And if you look, we're looking to you guys. You know, give us some feedback. Leave us a review on iTunes. Go on our website. Shoot us an email. Give us some suggestions. Maybe some guests that you'd like to have on the show.
We'll send you coffee.
We'll send you coffee.
We'll send you coffee. Send you coffee. We'll send you coffee.
So yeah, go to 5o'clockhustle.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Go ahead, Dre.
I have an idea.
What's up?
Why don't we have our guest write to us, whether it's on IG, whether it's on Twitter, via email at general@5o'clockhustle.com, what they would like to be called? Because I feel like we generalize them so much. We just say, hey, you guys, and to our listeners out
Like
there.
Vayner Nation.
Like they got like
Gary
Vayner
Vee's
Nation or like the Rogan the Brogans or whatever they call them. Like you guys come up with a name.
The 5 o'clock
For you-
fuckers.
5 o'clock. It's a little. I don't think
a little
Terry
violent.
Scott will
Sorry,
approve of
Grandma.
that. No, but I think you guys should help us with a name for you guys because we're a family here. We're a community, and we just don't want to refer to you guys as
The
you
listeners.
guys or the listeners or
audience.
our listeners. When we have guests on, we want to be proud of who
We are proud.
We are proud of you guys, and we are proud of the amount of love that we've been getting. Like we've had our best months lately, and it's just been great.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
help
Tell
us
us your
out.
name, brothers.
Yeah,
And
tell us your name,
sisters.
brothers
I'm
and
going to
sisters.
throw one into the ring, and you guys can throw right
so
back.
Dean doesn't have to keep saying guys
5-0.
and gals. He said it like 4 times.
I'm just for the listeners. You guys can throw this as a nomination, like a second. The 5-0 family.
5-0 fam.
The 5
Ooh.
fam.
I like that, but give us your input.
Yeah,
Anyway.
absolutely.
Yeah, please do.
Well, it was a lot of fun, guys. I can't wait for you guys to listen to some of the episodes that we have been recording. We have some really great guests. And again, leave us a review. Sign up for our newsletter at 5o'clockhustle.com. Just hit the subscribe button in the corner. And I can't wait for you guys to come on this journey with us. We have so much great content coming in for you. Guys, let's wrap this thing up. What do we
do
do?
it.
Yeah, for sure. No, if you like us, leave 5 stars. If you hate us, leave a review and 5
And
stars.
5 stars.
We'll learn.
High five. Boom. 5 o'clock hustle, baby.
Boom.
5-0.
That's
Hey,
it.
thank you all so much. We really appreciate it.
Hashtag 50 fam if you're with me.
Hashtag 50 fuckers.
5-0 fam.
Wait, Jay. Oh no. Dean's
50
got the 50
Phillies.
fuckers. I got the 50 fam. You got to throw one in the hat.
The 5-0 Phillies.
The 50 Phillies?
Yeah.
It's kind of like buckling it into like a certain region.
Yeah.
Cool.
5-0 Phillies, bro.
50 Phillies.
Fight
Boom.
the power. Fight the power.
The 5-0 or
The 5 O's.
the 5-0 faces.
50 faces.
Oh, see,
Okay,
that's-
good.
that's
50 faces. Hashtag 50 faces. Hashtag 50 fuckers. Hashtag 50 fam. Hashtag 50 whatever you want. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Until next time,
For real.
5 o'clock hustle.